Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you try, life keeps testing you in ways that seem impossible to endure? That weight you carry, the responsibilities, the setbacks, the doubts, sometimes makes you wonder if you have the strength to keep going. I want you to know something fundamental, something history has quietly taught us. Strength is not measured by your muscles or your external victories, but by the unyielding will within you, the part of you that refuses to surrender even when circumstances push you to the edge. I've walked through the valleys of despair, faced decisions that could have broken my spirit, and yet I discovered that it was the resilience of my mind and the steadfastness of my purpose that carried me forward. And that is precisely what I wish to share with you today. Stay with me until the end, because by the time we finish, you will see your own struggles through a lens of possibility, courage, and clarity. Imagine a version of yourself who does not waver in the face of adversity, who meets every challenge with calm determination and inner resolve. This version already exists within you. Before we continue, take a moment. If you find value in what I'm about to share, subscribe and engage with this reflection. Every time you choose to cultivate your will, to grow stronger, you honor your potential, and by sharing these insights, you help others awaken to their own. Remember, as I have learned, it is not the body that defines your strength, but the indomitable will that guides your choices, shapes your character, and ultimately determines the life you lead. Let me speak to you plainly. There will be days when your body feels weak, when your mind questions every choice you've made, and when the world seems determined to remind you of your limits. These moments are not signs of failure. They are the proving ground of your character. I have faced nights so long that hope itself seemed to vanish, yet I discovered that the measure of a person is not found in what life gives us, but in how we respond when life takes everything away. I want you to consider this. What defines you is not how easily you bend to the pressures of the moment, but how you rise after being pushed down. Within you exists a core of resilience, a spark that no circumstance can extinguish, a will that, when nurtured, grows into a quiet yet unstoppable force. Think of the decisions you've postponed out of fear or hesitation. Now imagine confronting them with clarity, knowing that your strength does not lie in avoiding discomfort, but in moving forward despite it. Every time you choose to act with purpose rather than retreat in doubt, you train your mind to see obstacles as temporary, not as insurmountable. There is a subtle truth that I learned over years of challenge. Persistence is not always loud or dramatic. It is often quiet, steady, and disciplined. Strength is built not in a single heroic act, but in the repetition of small, determined choices that affirm your control over your own life. Perhaps you have looked at someone else and envied their confidence, their composure, their apparent invulnerability. Let me remind you that such qualities are cultivated, not born. They emerge from daily commitments to oneself, from refusing to surrender to excuses, from choosing to believe in your capacity to endure and to grow. You are already stronger than you realize, because every hardship you have endured has left a residue of resilience that you can draw upon at any time. You have survived difficulties, heartbreaks, and disappointments before, and each one has quietly fortified the foundation of your will. Ask yourself this: if the strength you seek is already within, what is holding you back from unleashing it? Often it is the habit of doubt, the habit of listening to the voice that tells you you are not enough. I have spoken to those voices many times, and I can assure you, they have no authority over your potential unless you grant it. When you commit to your purpose, when you align your actions with your values, that inner will becomes tangible. It shapes your decisions, stabilizes your emotions, and carries you forward when others might crumble. You may not feel invincible, but you can act with invincibility. This is the paradox of strength. It is not a feeling you wait to experience, but a choice you make moment by moment. So I ask you here and now to recognize that the trials before you are invitations, not punishments. Opportunities to flex the indomitable will that already resides in your heart and mind. Every time you resist the urge to give up, every time you speak your truth even when it is uncomfortable, and every time you choose action over passivity, you are shaping your destiny. Your strength is not a distant goal. It is the sum of the quiet, persistent decisions you make today. The world will not always acknowledge your resilience, and that is irrelevant. What matters is that you see yourself with honesty, courage, and respect. You are capable of more than you imagine, and when you commit to living with an unwavering will, even the heaviest burdens can be carried with grace. Remember, the power that guides the world's greatest leaders, the minds that shape history, begins with the mastery of self. Begin with mastering your own will, and the rest follows. Let us consider for a moment the subtle power of your choices, for it is in them that your will truly manifests. Life presents countless forks in the road, many of them cloaked in uncertainty, fear, or discomfort. It is easy to allow hesitation, anger, or despair to dictate your actions, to let the moment slip past while your mind complains and doubts. But true strength, the kind that cannot be measured by appearances or accolades, is born in the deliberate choice to act with intention, even when the path is unclear. I have stood before decisions that could alter the course of countless lives, and I discovered that the measure of my leadership, and indeed the measure of any person, rests not on external approval, but on the alignment of action with principle. You too can cultivate this same clarity by practicing deliberate decision-making, by training yourself to pause, reflect, and act in accordance with your values. You strengthen the very core of your will. Ask yourself in moments of stress, frustration, or doubt, which action reflects the person I want to be? The answer will reveal a quiet but profound power, the power to remain composed, decisive, and unwavering amidst the chaos. Emotions, as powerful as they are, must not become tyrants. I have known the weight of despair, the sharp sting of anger, and the creeping fog of doubt. There were times when I could have surrendered to these feelings, allowed them to dictate my responses and derail my purpose. Yet I learned that the most formidable strength lies in acknowledging these emotions without yielding to them, in recognizing their presence but choosing the course of reason and resolve. This does not diminish your humanity, it enhances it. Each time you exercise restraint, each time you respond with calm deliberation, rather than impulsive reaction, you reinforce your capacity to act with indomitable will. Think of the last time you allowed frustration to dictate your choices. What might have changed if instead you had drawn upon patience, reflection, and purpose? Every moment of emotional mastery builds an invisible muscle, one that fortifies your mind and prepares you for challenges you cannot yet foresee. Consider also the subtle influence of daily habits. Strength is rarely forged in a single heroic act. It is cultivated quietly, incrementally, in the routines that shape your life. The small choices, how you respond to criticism, how you manage your time, how you speak to yourself in moments of doubt, these are the bricks that construct the fortress of your will. I have spent countless hours reading, writing, and reflecting, not merely to acquire knowledge, but to condition my mind to endure, to reason, and to act decisively. You may not lead a nation, but the principle is identical. The discipline you cultivate today becomes the foundation for your resilience tomorrow. Each deliberate act of integrity, each moment of self-control, each decision to rise rather than retreat accumulates into a formidable strength that life cannot easily dismantle. And remember, strength is inseparable from hope. To cultivate an indomitable will, you must first believe that the effort is meaningful, that your choices matter, and that the path forward, though difficult, is worth pursuing. I have faced times when the horizon seemed impossible, when the challenges appeared insurmountable. Yet hope sustained me, intertwined with deliberate action, forging a force within that no adversity could conquer. So I urge you to nurture your own hope, to combine it with thoughtful action, and to remember that your will is not an abstract ideal. It is a living, breathing power that grows each time you choose courage over fear, action over resignation, and perseverance over despair. Your life will not always be easy, but it can always be yours to shape, and the strength you seek is already present in the choices you make today. Life will inevitably present you with challenges that feel unfair, unbearable, or entirely beyond your control. You may encounter setbacks that shake your confidence, betrayals that wound deeply, or moments when the world seems intent on proving that your efforts are in vain. I have stood at the precipice of despair myself, faced with decisions whose weight could have crushed my spirit. And yet in every trial, I found a lesson that the strongest of us come to understand. Adversity is not a punishment, it is a teacher. Every difficulty you encounter carries within it an opportunity to discover the depths of your own resilience, to uncover a capacity for patience, endurance, and wisdom that you may not have realized existed. I ask you to look at your current struggles and consider, what might these challenges reveal about your character? What hidden strength might be waiting for you to recognize it? The truth is, when you meet hardship with intention and reflection rather than fear or anger, you transform it into a force that propels you forward rather than holding you back. Consider for a moment the weight of disappointment, the plans that faltered, the relationships that failed, the dreams that seemed to dissolve before your eyes. Such moments have a way of hollowing us out, making us question our worth, our purpose, and our potential. But let me remind you, the measure of a person is not found in the ease of their journey, but in the courage with which they navigate the obstacles along the way. When I faced profound losses and daunting responsibilities, I discovered that I could choose how to respond, to succumb to bitterness, or to transform each painful experience into a lesson that strengthened my judgment, clarified my priorities, and fortified my will. You too possess this choice. Within every challenge lies the seed of growth, and by facing adversity with honesty, patience, and determination, you cultivate a power that no external circumstance can take from you. Ask yourself now, which path will you take when confronted with difficulty, resignation, or deliberate resilience? Strength, however, is not merely the ability to endure, it is also the wisdom to adapt. Challenges are rarely solved by brute force or rigid insistence. They require discernment, strategy, and perspective. I have learned that stepping back to observe, to reflect on the true nature of a problem, often reveals opportunities hidden in plain sight. Perhaps a failure is not a signal to quit, but a prompt to change your approach. Perhaps a rejection is not a condemnation of your worth, but a chance to refine your understanding and sharpen your focus. When you cultivate the capacity to see beyond the immediate discomfort, you harness your will not as a reactionary force, but as a guided, purposeful energy that transforms obstacles into steps along your path. Each time you do so, you reinforce your resilience, deepen your insight, and expand the horizon of what is possible in your life. Let me speak frankly. The world will not always recognize your endurance, your courage, or your steadfastness. Often, your greatest victories are invisible to others, quietly shaping your character and preparing you for challenges yet to come. This is why inner strength, cultivated in solitude and through reflection, is far more valuable than external validation. When you learn to find satisfaction in the deliberate use of your will, in the thoughtful choices you make under pressure, you are no longer at the mercy of circumstance. You become the master of your own life. So I urge you to embrace your challenges, to face adversity with resolve, and to recognize that each struggle, no matter how painful, carries the potential to make you stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the life you aspire to lead. Your will, your purpose, and your perseverance are the forces that define you, not the difficulties that arise along the way. There will be moments when life places you in situations that demand choices so significant, so pressing, that your heart races and your mind doubts every instinct. I have known such moments, when the weight of responsibility threatened to paralyze me, when every path seemed fraught with risk, and yet I discovered a timeless truth. The measure of your strength is revealed not in the absence of fear, but in the ability to act with clarity despite it. The first step is to cultivate trust in yourself. You have faced trials before, and though you may not always have understood the lessons at the time, your past choices, your perseverance, and your resilience provide you with a wellspring of experience from which to draw. When confronted with uncertainty, pause, reflect, and ask yourself, what choice aligns with the person I wish to become? When you anchor your decisions in your values and your purpose, fear becomes a guide, not a tyrant, and your will transforms into an unshakable compass. In decision-making, composure is your greatest ally. It is easy to allow urgency, frustration, or external pressures to cloud your judgment, to act hastily, and later regret the course you chose. I have witnessed and experienced the cost of decisions made under duress without deliberate thought. Strength lies in the ability to slow your mind even when time is short, to assess the variables before you, and to act with intention rather than impulse. Imagine yourself facing a challenge that demands an immediate response. Now imagine responding with calm, confidence, and clarity. The difference is profound. This is not a natural talent reserved for the few. It is a skill cultivated through practice, reflection, and the unwavering commitment to honor your inner guidance above the noise of the moment. Each time you exercise calm decision-making, you reinforce the authority of your will and the resilience of your character. Self-trust, I must emphasize, is inseparable from humility. It is not arrogance to believe in your judgment. It is wisdom to recognize your own capacity while remaining open to learning, adapting, and listening. I have made decisions that proved imperfect, yet each misstep provided insight that refined my judgment, strengthened my resolve, and sharpened my understanding of the path ahead. You too will encounter choices that are not perfect, but when approached with honesty, reflection, and intentionality, every decision becomes a step toward mastery over your own life. Even when external forces seem overwhelming, even when outcomes are uncertain, your inner authority, the product of experience, reflection, and deliberate action, will guide you toward solutions that reflect your strength, purpose, and resilience. Finally, remember this: pressure is not the enemy. It is the proving ground of your will. The moments that test your patience, your judgment, and your self-control are precisely the circumstances that reveal the depths of your inner strength. By approaching decisions with composure, grounding yourself in your values, and trusting your capacity to navigate uncertainty, you transform these tests into opportunities to demonstrate your fortitude. You are capable of making choices that honor your integrity, reflect your purpose, and strengthen your character. And as you practice this skill, decision by decision, day by day, you build a life governed not by fear, impulse, or external circumstance, but by the indomitable will that defines you at your core. It is one thing to rise in the face of immediate challenge, and quite another to maintain that courage and determination over the long journey of life. I have known the toll that prolonged adversity can take, the subtle erosion of hope, the quiet whispers of doubt that creep in when days stretch into months and months into years. Yet, it is precisely in this endurance that the true measure of your will is revealed. Your strength is not only the ability to act in moments of crisis, but the capacity to sustain purpose and clarity when no immediate reward or recognition is in sight. Life is rarely generous with certainty or reassurance. The world will not always applaud your perseverance, and setbacks will come in forms both predictable and unforeseen. In these moments, your inner compass, the values, vision, and deliberate choices that guide you, becomes the only reliable anchor. Ask yourself now, how will you honor the promise of your own potential, even when the outcome is unclear? The answer to this question will shape the trajectory of your life in ways both profound and enduring. Long-term resilience is cultivated through reflection and deliberate practice. I have often found that the most valuable moments are those spent in quiet contemplation, examining not only what I have achieved, but also how I have responded to trials. Each disappointment, each success, and each decision carries lessons that, when understood, prepare you for challenges yet to come. You must give yourself the space to learn from your experiences, to observe the patterns of your own behavior, and to consciously strengthen the habits that support your will and vision. Consider your daily actions. Are they small affirmations of purpose, or do they allow the weight of doubt and distraction to dictate your course? Every intentional act, no matter how minor, builds a cumulative resilience that becomes a shield against the unpredictability of life. Your life is a narrative of choices, and with each deliberate step, you reinforce the integrity, persistence, and strength that will carry you forward. Equally important is the cultivation of vision. Resilience without direction can become mere endurance. It is the clarity of your purpose that channels strength into meaningful action. I have often reflected that a life without vision is a life at the mercy of circumstance, while a life guided by inner conviction, even in the face of uncertainty, radiates an invisible force that shapes both opportunity and outcome. Define for yourself the principles and goals that matter most, and let them serve as your North Star. When challenges arise, as they inevitably will, this vision will remind you why you endure, why you persevere, and why you refuse to relinquish the power of your will. It is through the combination of sustained resilience and unwavering vision that the seemingly impossible becomes achievable, that setbacks transform into lessons, and that your life evolves from mere survival into purposeful mastery. Finally, recognize that the journey itself, with all its trials and triumphs, strengthens your character. The endurance of the human spirit is revealed not in a single moment of courage, but in the ongoing commitment to rise, to act, and to grow day after day. You are capable of carrying this strength across the seasons of life, and each act of perseverance, no matter how quiet, is a declaration of your indomitable will. Trust in your capacity to endure, to learn, and to navigate the unknown. Anchor yourself in reflection, cultivate your vision, and allow your choices to embody the resilient, unwavering force that defines you at your core. Remember always, the life you lead is shaped less by circumstance than by the strength, clarity, and persistence of your will. In nurturing it, you become the architect of your own destiny. Now take a moment to consider the journey we have reflected on together. Life is rarely linear, and the challenges you face are not signs of weakness, but invitations to awaken the strength that already resides within you. The choices you make, the way you navigate adversity, the discipline with which you cultivate your habits, and the clarity of your vision all converge to create the life you live. Strength is not an abstract concept or an external prize. It is the steady, unyielding force of your will, expressed moment by moment, decision by decision. I have walked paths shadowed by doubt and weighed by responsibility, and I have learned that the only true power lies in mastering yourself. You too can harness this power. You are capable of resilience, of thoughtful action, of maintaining composure under pressure, and of transforming setbacks into stepping stones toward your purpose. Every struggle you encounter carries within it the potential to strengthen, clarify, and refine the will that defines you at your core. Think for a moment about your own life, the obstacles you have overcome, the decisions you have wrestled with, and the moments when you doubted your own capacity. Each of these is a testament to your enduring spirit, a silent declaration of resilience. Do not underestimate the significance of small, deliberate choices, for they accumulate into a formidable force over time. The power you seek is not distant or elusive. It is already present, quietly waiting for you to claim it. By acting with intention, by exercising patience and emotional mastery, by maintaining your vision and purpose, you shape not only the present moment, but also the trajectory of your life for years to come. Reflect on this. Each step you take towards self-discipline, clarity, and courage fortifies the very foundation of your future. And so I urge you, if these words resonate, if you feel the stirring of your own untapped strength, do not let this moment pass. Commit yourself to the deliberate cultivation of your will, to the ongoing practice of resilience, and to the pursuit of your vision with unwavering resolve. Share your journey, engage with this reflection, and subscribe, not merely as a formality, but as a choice to align yourself with growth, insight, and deliberate action. Each like, each comment, each step of engagement is a reinforcement of your commitment to becoming the person you are capable of being. Life may test you, circumstances may challenge you, and doubt may whisper in your ear, but remember always, strength is not measured in what you endure externally, but in the indomitable will that rises within, guiding your choices, shaping your character, and determining the life you lead. Your journey is yours to command. Your resilience is your power, and your will, when fully awakened, is unstoppable.